Hello everyone and welcome back to another video here on the channel, and yes, today I'm going to be jumping over onto Squiggle and I'm going to be predicting every single game for the rest of the season as well as the upcoming final series. Now if you guys do go on to enjoy this video, as always, could you please show me that by liking the video as well as subscribing to the channel if you guys are new. Enough wasting your time, let's get straight into it. Now obviously I have already done my predictions for this week of football, so my first 9 games that I'll be predicting don't really mean anything. I'll just be choosing who I've tipped, and if you want to know why I'm tipping them in a bit more of depth, go check out my tipping video. So I'll be tipping Brisbane, Collingwood, Dogs, Cats, Essendon, Hawthorn, North Melbourne, St Kilda, Port Adelaide. Now let's move on to round 19. So the first game we've got Essendon versus GWS at Marvel Stadium. At Marvel Stadium, you'd think Bombers could maybe get the upper hand, but I think the Giants will just be the better team that day. We'll go Giants by 12. Okay, this is an interesting game, but because it's being played at the Gabba, we'll go the Lions. York Park, I'd assume that's Utah's stadium. And yeah, Hawks don't lose up there, so we'll go Hawks. Sydney should win by a fair amount. MCG, Carlton v Melbourne. This one's difficult actually. I'm going to go Melbourne to win this one. Let's go Melbourne by 15. Perth Stadium, Optus. Richmond v West Coast. I think Richmond probably win that one despite both them being pretty poor. Kardinia Park, Cats v Saints. Saints tend to get the upper hand on the Cats fairly often, but I just don't think they're going to lose at home, the Geelong Cats, so we'll go Cats to win this one by 30. Pies should beat Fremantle at the G. Adelaide should beat the Suns at home. Again, you think Hawks win at the MCG by 40 plus against the Blues. Dogs win. Unlucky, mate. Giants win by 24. I think the Suns win in an upset. Let's go Suns by 10. Freo should beat the Eagles by a lot. North v Cats. Oh, you're going to go North on this one, right? No, we'll go Cats to win by 40. Adelaide should beat Port Adelaide, I think. Pies should smash the Tigers. Saints should defeat Melbourne. That one's sort of hard though because, I don't know, Saints v Melbourne, they are probably similarly skilled, but you just have a look at the ladder and the Saints are a bit higher, so that's probably why I've gone there, and it's at Marvel Stadium as well, so I feel like you can't surpass the Saints at Marvel. Dogs v Giants, this one's actually kind of tough. At Marvel Stadium though, you'd think they'd get up the Dogs, but you can't say the Giants won't put up a fight in this game. Round 21, they probably need to get a few more wins to their belt. They currently sit at 7th, they're almost a lock for finals, but definitely want to win this one, the Giants. Dogs and Giants have the same amount of wins and losses. I think I'm going to go the Dogs here by 4 points. Adelaide v Hawthorn. Jeez, this is a really good round of footy. I can't wait for round 21. Adelaide v Hawthorn at the Adelaide Oval. Adelaide at home are really, really strong. They're going to be pretty hard to beat. Could the Hawks pull off an upset here? Nah, I think Adelaide's still got over the line by 16. Melbourne should beat the Eagles. Gold Coast should beat the Tigers. Swans v Essendon, I think Swans should win that one. A close one, go Swans by 2 goals. Pies v Lions. Now, the thing is with this one, the Pies have beaten the Lions the last 3 times I think they've versed them. So obviously they defeated the Lions earlier this year, defeated them twice last year, and then defeated them in the grand final. So that's actually the last 4 times we've versed them, we've defeated the Lions. So currently going into this game, we would be on a bit of a winning streak. I mean, depending or not whether we lose to the Suns this week. I've tipped us to win though. At the MCG though, I just can't see a world where the Lions get up. We smashed them at the Gabba by 50 points earlier in the year, and I just don't know if the Lions are going to really be able to do much at the MCG, but this game probably means more than the game earlier in the year. So I will think the Pies win this one. I think it'll be a bit of a closer clash than what it was earlier in the year, but we'll go Pies by 22. Saints v North, I think Saints should get up. Cats v Port at Kardinia Park, I think Cats should get up by around 30 points. Port Adelaide looks like their season is officially done. Speaking of seasons done, Carlton, they're off the board, and I think Fremantle will win this one. They should sneak into the top 8. Hawks v Pies, we smashed the Hawks earlier this year. Hawks though, they could put up a bit more of a fight. Now it's later in the season, they need to really improve on their skill level. I think Pies should still win this one. I think we've got the Hawks covered. We'll go Pies by 15. Cats v Essendon at Kardinia Park. We'll go Cats by 20. They'll actually probably win by more. I don't know why I said Cats by 20. Okay, Richmond v St Kilda, but it's at the MCG. I actually would not be surprised if the Saints did lose this game, despite them being a really, really stronger team than the Tigers. At the MCG, I can't say the Saints usually play their best brand of football there. No, I think Saints still win by 14. Lions, I think, will defeat the Swans by a lot. We'll go Lions by 37 at home. Carlton v Suns at Marvel. I understand the Suns don't typically play well away. I mean, they lost to the Tigers away at Marvel Stadium. I just still think this is a game they have to win. There's still a chance of dropping out the game, and they just really need to get a win a few more wins to lock their spot in there. Yeah, I just think it might be closer than what it should be, but the Suns should get over the line. Suns are at 13. Port v Freo at the Adelaide Oval. I still think Freo win this. Port Adelaide will go in there as the favourites, you'd think, but I'll go Freo by 12. Giants should smash North. Melbourne will probably lose to the Dogs despite it being at the MCG. Dogs win by 18. Eagles v Crows at Perth. Crows should win by 35. Essendon v Saints. Now this could be a close game, I would think. Both teams, their season's basically done. Well, Essendon's season is done. I don't know. It's at Marvel. I think the Saints do win this one. It could actually be a relatively close thriller. I'm going to go Saints by 1. Freo v Lions at Optus. Now, this is a win Freo need. This is a win that Freo actually really need if they want to make the top 8. But I think the Lions will win away. If they want to get even higher up on the ladder, they currently sit at 4th. So they should make the top 4, but they just want to secure that spot. We'll go Lions by 10. I think Suns should beat the Giants. I think they're a better team. Carlton v Port at Marvel. I'm actually going to go, I think at Marvel they should be a stronger team than Port Adelaide. Although Port Adelaide are pretty on and off. Like they'll play a really, really good game of footy like we saw in Gather Round against Hawthorn. But then like the next week they'll just get absolutely pumped and not even try. Last few weeks Port Adelaide have been an alright team though. But I just think at Marvel, Carlton could get up by 3. Hawks v Melbourne, you think Hawks win by a fair amount. Adelaide v Collingwood at the Adelaide Oval. I still think the Pies win this one, but is it silly to predict them to win every game for the rest of the year? I almost think it is, and I feel like that's really, really unlikely. We're going to have to drop a game eventually, and obviously we will go into state for this one. We're already locked in to finish first on the ladder. I just think we might actually rest a few players heading up to Adelaide, and I think we probably will lose this game, and I'm going to get Adelaide by 9. North v Richmond. Both teams are in pretty poor form. Obviously, this is being played in Tassie, as you can see above. They're pretty strong up in Tassie, North Melbourne, and I think North could get up here by 37. Swans v Cats at the SCG. Look, I think the Cats still win this one despite it being interstate. We'll go Cats by 21. Dogs v Eagles. Dogs win by 48. Now moving on to the final round of footy, round 24, between the Suns and the Bombers to kick things off. The Suns should win this one. We'll go Suns by 22. Giants v Saints at the Sydney Showgrounds, being obviously NG Stadium. Giants should win that one by a fair amount. We'll go Giants by 39. North v Adelaide at Marvel Stadium. Got to go Adelaide there. Dogs should beat Fremantle at home. Collingwood should beat Melbourne by I think around 40 points, despite obviously being a close game earlier in the year. Tigers v Cats. We'll go Cats to win this one by 30. Essendon v Carlton. I think Carlton. They both have the same win-loss ratio at this stage. Can I see a world where Essendon finish in the bottom 4? That's what it's looking like if they don't win this game. I just think Carlton are slightly better. I think Carlton will get up by 9. Brisbane, I reckon, beat Hawthorn at the Gather. Adelaide at the Adelaide Oval, though. That's the difficult part. I think Suns win that one though. Swans win that one by 20. And there we have it. That is the full predictions for the rest of the game for the rest of the season. Let me quickly run through the AFL ladder that I have for you guys. West Coast will get the wooden spoon with only 1 win all season. I feel like that's very unrealistic, but that's how I've predicted it. Richmond will finish at 17th with 4 wins. North Melbourne racked up 6 wins in the end, and they'll finish in 16th place. Essendon actually finished in the bottom 4, finishing in 15th place. Melbourne will finish in 14th with the same amount of wins as Essendon, just slightly higher, obviously due to percentage. 13th is Port Adelaide having 8 wins. Also with 8 wins is Carlton, who's sitting 12th. 11th is St Kilda, who racked up 10 wins, which is pretty impressive. So they had a pretty strong end to the season. Also with 10 wins is the minor premiers from 2024, being the Sydney Swans. Dropped down to 10th after finishing 1st last year, which is absolutely shocking. Just missing out of the 8 was Fremantle. They finished in 9th place. They'll be spewing. GWS just smacking the top 8, finishing in 8th place. Hawthorn finishing in 7th with 15 wins. 6th place was the Gold Coast Suns. The Western Bulldogs will finish in 5th place, just outside the top 4. They would have liked a top 4 finish, but they will be playing in the first week of the elimination finals. Now the top 4. In 4th place, we have the Brisbane Lions with 16 wins and 6 losses. Also that one draw against North Melbourne. In 3rd place, we have the Adelaide Crows with 17 wins and 6 losses. In 2nd place, we have the Geelong Cats. And in 1st place, the minor premiers in 2025 will be the Collingwood Magpies with 20 wins and only 3 losses all year. I don't know how realistic that is, but I really only see them losing maybe 1 or 2 games the rest of the year. And that the only other game that I see us dropping this year is maybe this weekend against the Suns. Now let's move on to the finals. We're actually going to start off with the qualifying finals. We're going to skip the elimination finals for now. The first qualifying final of the MCG will be the Collingwood Magpies taking on the Brisbane Lions. We know just how good the Pies are at home, and we've actually beaten the Lions every single time this year. We know just how strong the Pies are, one at the MCG and also in the finals. We always show up come finals time, no matter where we place on the ladder. And if my predictions are correct, we would have beaten the Lions 5 times in a row. Is it about time they win one? Well, just take a look at Collingwood Adelaide. We've beaten them the last 10 times. So I think the Pies do win this one against the Lions, especially because it is at home. But I can't imagine the Lions losing the semi-final. The other qualifying final is the Cats versus the Crows. The Cats have had an outstanding season all year. The Crows have only had 1 less win than them. So we'll be at the MCG, sadly enough, not at GMHBA Stadium where they would prefer to have had it. I just think despite them only being 1 ladder spot apart from each other, I just think the Cats have been by far a way more skilled team than the Adelaide Crows, and I just think the Cats should win this one and they'll go straight to a prelim final. Now the elim finals, we've got the Bulldogs taking on the GWS Giants. The Giants finished in 8th place while the Bulldogs finished in 5th. So as you can see, there's a bit more of a skill gap there. But actually the Bulldogs only ended up with 2 more wins. MCG, they will redeem themselves after last year's loss against Hawthorn in the elim final, and they'll move on to the semi. Now Gold Coast versus Hawthorn, the Suns finished in 6th place while the Hawks finished in 7th, so very, very similar skilled. This will be the Suns' first ever final series that they play in, and this will be our People's First Stadium, which is pretty huge for them. The first ever Suns final, they can't lose it, can they? Their first final in history, they can't lose it. They're going to have so much expectations going into this game, and I think the Suns should win them. There's going to be so much expectations for the Suns going into this game, and I just can't imagine a world where they lose. Now for the semi-finals, we have the Brisbane Lions taking on the Western Bulldogs, and the Adelaide Crows taking on the Suns. Lions, they have been a better team overall than the Western Bulldogs. The Dogs did just miss out on the top 5. They're only 1 ladder position away from making it, and the Lions actually finished in 4th, so they only barely made it. I think at the Gabba though, they can't drop that game, and they'll move on to a prelim final. And then over at the Adelaide Oval, we have the Adelaide Crows taking on the Gold Coast Suns. Look, the Suns finished in 6th, the Crows finished in 3rd, so I'm sure you can tell which team is the overall better one. The Suns already got their first win in their history in a finals game, so they'll be happy with that. They'll be wanting to go all the way, but unfortunately away at the Adelaide Oval, I think the Crows should win that one, and they'll move on to a prelim final. Now the Pies versus the Crows prelim final. This is at the MCG. They versed each other earlier in the year at the MCG, and obviously the Pies got the upper hand in the end. They should have actually won that game by a bit more, I would have thought. I felt like they were a lot stronger of a team that day. I think I'd be pretty shocked if the Pies lost that one after an exceptional season that they've had with only 3 losses all season. I can't imagine a world where they would lose this close to the grand final, and I think the Pies will win this one. Despite how strong the Adelaide Crows forward line is compared to the Pies back line, I think the Pies will still get up here due to their midfield. And then for the other one, we have a repeat of last year's prelim final between the Brisbane Lions and, of course, the Geelong Cats. 2 very similar skilled sides as well. Now, what we could see here is a Pies v Cats grand final, which I think would go absolutely crazy. I think that would be one of the closer grand finals of the bunch. Or we could see a repeat of 2023 where the Pies got up by 4 points. So I think regardless, we're in for a close grand final. But for the Cats, I think they've just been such a strong side this year, and I think they will get up at the MCG. And that's right. The grand final matchup will be the Collingwood versus the Cats grand final. Now, of course, I want to tip my Pies to win this grand final. They've just been such a good team and such an entertaining team to watch. They've by far been the best team all year. I'm so happy we haven't had to verse the Cats at any other stage during the final series. I thought we'd probably verse them in the first qualifying final, but we didn't. Earlier this year, the Pies and the Cats did face off, and the Cats did win the game with a Jack Crisp miss after the siren. The issue with that game was, even though the Cats did get up that game, I just feel like the Pies were the overall better team. I can't blame the umpires, despite that one Lockie Schultz goal that certainly should have been paid. I thought the umpiring was pretty even for both sides, that both teams had some pretty shocking umpiring calls in their favour, and both teams definitely did not get the free kicks that they deserved. And it was even demonstrated in the final few minutes, where the Pies just did not give up in the final few minutes, got to kick a few late goals, and had that late shot after the siren, unfortunately was due to a miss. But yeah, I feel like the Pies were the overall better team that day. We just could not show that on the scoreboard. But when you think about it in this grand final, the Cats had their opportunity last year. They got to play some finals footy last year. Unfortunately missed out on playing in the granny. We missed out in the top 8 last year. And it feels like the Cats are always winning flags. They're just always up there every single year. Contending. As much as I want to tip my Pies, I think the Cats will get the upper hand here and they'll win the flag in 2025. Now, I hope you all did enjoy today's video, and if you did, could you please show me that by liking the video as well as subscribing to the channel if you guys are new. Let me know what you guys would have done different in these ladder predictions, and I'll see you all in the next video that I post here on the channel.